Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for Mars and Leo. I'm doing a series of videos on Mars in the different astrological signs. And if you are not sure where your Mars is at, check the link below this video. And I have linked it to an astrological site that has a list of all the dates. And just be advised that if you don't have your time of birth, there are dates where Mars changes signs, and in that case, you may be one of two signs. So it's always helpful to know exactly when your time of birth is so you can determine that. However, you might have traits of both signs, and you might want to listen to both videos. So Mars is our drive. It's what pushes us into action. And it's also like what we desire as well. And sometimes, desires are kind of hazy and intangible because it's not necessarily that we're looking for something specific, but we have certain ideals that we want to bring into reality. And Mars gives us that, I don't know how you would put it, that gumption to go after these things. And with Leo, we're talking about a fixed fire sign. So Leo people, whether it's the sun in Leo or even the moon, and definitely with Mars, the desire or desires that they have can be quite prominent. This is going to be true for all of the fire signs, as is this need to be creative in some way. With Mars and Leo, you could see somebody who, even if their main profession, their main career choice is something completely different, they might decide to be in community theater because Leo is a sign of the actor, the performer. And likewise, you might have somebody with Mars and Leo who has musical talent, and they enjoy going to open mic night. They don't have any delusions about being some famous singer, but they just want to get out their creative impulses. Or maybe they're a painter or something like that, but they might not do that as their main gig. It just might be one of their hobbies. The desire to express oneself is part of this as well. And it makes somebody with Mars and Leo very expressive. I read somewhere once that even if the sun sign, or maybe especially if the sun sign, is in a more nondescript sign, and I don't know if they gave any examples, but I would say like Capricorn or even Pisces, where the nature might be kind of shy in some instances, that Mars and Leo can overshadow that and make the person a lot more theatrical, a lot more confident, and really suck the oxygen out of a room even because they have this real charisma and leadership abilities. And definitely because Mars can be ambition, you may see Mars and Leo people as, if they're working for somebody else, they may have the ultimate desire to be in charge of an operation. And of course, like every other sign, there are the Leos, and we're going to just call them Leos, even though it's Mars and Leo, who are being the bright version of this placement, and the ones that are in shadow. The bright Leo, Mars and Leos, are people who lead in a warm way, in an encouraging way, and they want other people to be successful too. The Mars and Leo individuals who have a less developed personality or makeup may be much more tyrannical. They may be full of ego. They may be narcissistic. And they may actually be insecure, and that's what's causing a lot of those negative side effects of having this shadow version of Mars and Leo. So the example would be the diva. Let's say the singer who has gotten too full of herself, and she forgets where she came from and has a big head and orders people around and basically acts like she's better than other people. But that is certainly not going to be true of all Mars and Leo individuals. Remember that Leo is ruled by the sun, and so the warmth of a person with a prominent Leo placement like Mars can give them a very affectionate nature, a very encouraging and positive nature. Mars in Leo has sometimes a drive towards fame or being seen by others, like being on stage. And again, that performer within them produces this. But also, just think about the sun being the center of everything. And this is kind of where I'm going with that. And it can be kind of aggravating for people who feel like the Mars in Leo person is too ambitious for fame. You know, there's that term fame whore, or somebody who is in need of attention, an attention whore. That, again, is going to be the lower nature. A well-balanced Mars and Leo individual will just naturally seek the limelight because they have an extroverted nature and they have a confident nature. Those two things tend to go together hand in hand. Although I will say that there are people who are very shy, but once they get on stage, they just lose their inhibitions. And this can be, like I had said before, maybe they have the sun in Pisces or something and Mars in Leo, and they come alive when they are in front of an audience. Just naturally good at performing and all the things. I mean, this can even be in the corporate world where a Mars and Leo person can be a great public speaker and give great presentations. They're very entertaining. Remember, well, maybe I shouldn't say remember, but I would say that people who have a prominent Leo are going to be entertaining in and of themselves. Like they're going to have a persona that tends to be quite engaging and charismatic, and other people naturally follow them because they have this very appealing personality. And they're also very proud. So Mars in Leo is looking to make themselves feel proud of themselves. So they really do believe in self-love. And sometimes this can lead the Mars in Leo person to talk about their accomplishments with others and have this, list of accomplishments. And other people can see that as bragging or having the tendency to try to make themselves better than other people, which may or may not be true. It may simply be that they are proud of what they've accomplished and they want to share it with other people, or that they do feel that they need to let people know what they've done because they are not quite feeling that confident within themselves. But this is going to be true of all Mars in fire signs, or just, sun in fire signs, that they do, and even rising sometimes, that they do have a tendency to kind of, I wouldn't say rest on their laurels, but really be quite vocal about the things that they've done. And I guess it depends on the individual whether or not this is something that is going to be perceived as obnoxious, or whether other people are inspired by their accomplishments. Because again, Leo can be a very positive sign, and other people can feel quite inspired by Mars and Leo. I mean, this could even be someone who's a motivational coach because of these tendencies. In terms of their sexual nature or the libido, which Mars can represent, remember that that Leo is a fixed sign, so there is a lot of endurance, and people with Mars and Leo might be people who just want to have sex all night. I don't know, but definitely Leo is one of the lustier signs. I would rank it like Aries, Leo, Taurus, and I'm not even going to go there with Scorpio, because I think Scorpio is misunderstood when it comes to sex. I feel that Scorpios take sex very seriously, and so they do not think of it as sport, but very intense about it. Whereas Leos love the attention. You know, that can be what motivates them to do a lot of things, is to get attention. But they can just love the romantic side of it too. So I don't want to just make it like Leo is full of lust and they're sex machines, but I want to say that Leo is also very romantic and larger than life. And so they want their actions to reflect that. They want what comes to them to reflect that. And so there is this tendency to become very smitten by someone. And that romantic nature that they possess can really be quite inspirational for their lives. But even with, I think I would say that just like Taurus, Leo tends to become possessive of their lover. And maybe it's that fixed energy, because I think I could say the same thing about Scorpio. I'm not so sure about Aquarius, but definitely Scorpio. And they don't want to lose that person, so they're holding on tight, because all fixed signs, they don't really welcome change too much. So unless the Mars and Leo person has a sun in Gemini or Venus in Gemini, they may tend to also possess a bit of a possessive love nature. Getting back to the general characteristics, Mars and Leo can be very hardworking. Sometimes Leos, like Sun in Leo, they can be workaholics. So there's definitely ambitious nature, but also hardworking nature when they are passionate about what they're doing. This is important. I could totally see a Mars and Leo person not being into something that they don't feel is going to elevate them, is going to, that is worthy of who they are to engage in a certain behavior. Okay, well, I could keep going, but I think I'm going to end it here. I hope that you have enjoyed this, and if you'd like a private reading, such as a natal chart interpretation, I will link that type of reading below. Thank you. Take care.